Hello everybody, this is Massachusetts Maritime Academy Dad back at you with another video. I'm going to make this one real short. I'm going to break up a couple things, but this video is really kind of just intended for freshman parents whose kids are going to be going to Massachusetts Maritime Academy in the fall of 2026. My son is a 29 graduate. He just finished his first semester, or he's almost completed his first semester there. He's going to be coming back for winter term for Christmas and everything here in about a week. So he just finished his first semester. So I'm doing this video here to kind of help any of you new incoming parents on everything that I've learned, that hopefully you can get some tips that and some learn from some of the mistakes that I made and things that I learned along the way that might help you. But this is just going to be about orientation only. This is not going to be about orientation, graduation, or anything like that. I'm going to do a separate video for that. But I'm going to do videos as I go from all the different parts of things that I've learned that I believe are going to help you. My son is a recruiter lacrosse player, so if anybody has any lacrosse players, look out for those future videos that I'll be explaining things that I learned on that route. But one of the first things that I would recommend you do before you do anything is, if you're committed to go, orientation is usually the last week of August, or mid-August, I'm sorry, it's somewhere around the 17th or so. Somewhere between 2 and 3 weeks before your cadet goes, I would highly recommend that they start getting in shape, running, doing push-ups and things like that, and learning what they call the Young Knowledge book. You can find it online. I'll put a link to it here probably after I load this video, so that you can look at it. And basically, Young Knowledge, you're going to just need to know like the mission of the academy, the 40 parts of a lifeboat, learn a little bit about the history, and then definitely the chain of command. They're going to do that in June, so before your kids even go, there's going to be a regimental change, because right now Olivia Sarchetti, I believe her name, she's the regimental commander, but she's a senior. So when they graduate in June, she's going to be handed over. There's going to be a whole new set of company commanders. So there's 7 companies. Each has a company commander, and then a second company, a guy below them. So there's 2 per company. And then you need to know, and then there's a battalion leader, because there's 2 battalions. All right, you have 7 companies, and then you have 2 battalions, and they go by odd and even. So companies 1, 3, 5, and 7 are in Battalion 1. Companies 2, 4, and 6 are in Battalion 2, right? Then you have the regimental leader, which is Olivia Sarchetti. She oversees everybody. And you have 2 battalion commanders, and then you have 7 company commanders. Okay, and again, company 1, 3, 5, and 7 are in Battalion 1. Company 2, 4, and 6 are in Battalion 2. So when that list comes out, it'll probably come out somewhere, a good month before your kids go. I would learn that structure, learn every commander in each company. You're going to need to probably learn about 20 names, because they're going to test you on that, and you're going to need to know who these people are. So yeah, you're going to need to know your Young Knowledge. The book will go through some things that I would recommend you do, and then also definitely they're going to be running. They're going to be doing a lot of push-up, a lot of physical activity. I would get them in shape 2 or 3 weeks before orientation. My son did that. He trained a lot. Actually, my son won the Commander's Award for the top male physical test in orientation. There's a link with a video of my son winning that. But he trained a lot, and you have to do, it's how many push-ups you can do in 2 minutes, how many sit-ups you can do in 2 minutes, and then how fast you can run the mile. Those are the 3 that they take into account when they select or name the Commander Award winner. So my son did win it out of all the males, and there was a female that won her side. So I would recommend you do that. Get in shape there, because they're going to be doing a lot of running. Okay, so now getting on the packing list, what I would suggest is number 1 is, if I go a little too fast, just hopefully I don't miss anything, but you can just pause us and get a pin. But you're going to get this thing, right? It's called a packing list. There's a lot of stuff on here that you don't need. I'm just going to be honest with you, and there's a lot of stuff that's missing on here that I'm going to let you know about that I think is going to help you. So let's go. Before that, before I get into pack list, I want to say that just let your cadet know that it's very, very important to learn this. When they go there, they're going to bark at them. They're going to yell. Those cadres are seniors, right? They're junior and senior cadres. Platoon leaders they love those fresh guys coming in, those cadet candidates. They're going to yell at them a lot. So let your cadet candidate know don't let it affect you. Just look straight ahead. Do not look any other cadres in the eyes. You look straight ahead. Okay? They do not like it when you look them in the eyes. So they're going to be yelling in your ear a lot. And so don't ever sir a ma'am or ma'am a sir. What I mean by that is you're going to have a male cadre on one ear and a female, and they're going to be yelling in your ear and asking you questions about the Jungian knowledge. And if you have to start off with, you have to end it with yes sir, yes ma'am. And if you ma'am a sir, that means if you call a male cadre a ma'am, you're going to be in trouble and you're going to have to drop, do push-ups and run and stuff like that. So they're going to test you because they're going to have two of them right in your ear and they're going to be barking questions at you. So try to let your cadre know, or your candidate, your cadet know that they have to prepare for that. Okay, and it's really important. Just look straight ahead. Don't look them in the eye, and they're going to, whenever they ask you your name, it is not just your full name. You have to open up with Cadet Candidate John Doe, right, or Cadet Candidate Jane Doe. If they ask you what is your name, Cadet Candidate John Smith. Okay, yeah, it's very important that they say the word cadet candidate, so make sure they understand that and they learn that before they go in. Learn your Jungian knowledge, get in shape. Okay, you do that and they're gonna get past orientation and they'll be able to graduate. Okay, because they have to pass this in order to graduate. So that's what I would recommend there. So as far as the packing list, there's a couple things in here that I would go on. Definitely do so. Tennis shoes are the most important. You don't need to bring 2 or 3 pairs of tennis shoes. Try to bring as less that you can. Worry about bringing all his civilian clothes and everything else after graduation. Right now, you just want to take as little as possible to get your cadet through orientation. So if he's got if he's got a really old pair of tennis shoes that you think might break or something, then maybe you go out and you get him a new pair or something and have him break it in. Have them run in them and things like that 2 or 3 weeks before orientation. But just bring 1 pair of sneakers. That's really all you need. You're going to need 24 pairs of socks. You can get the 2 12-packs, right, of Hanes or something. They say they want them calf high. My son used the ankles and he got away with it because he doesn't like high socks. So you can get by on ankle socks. Just make sure there's no like a Nike logo swoosh marks on them. On the foot of the sock, it could be the gold tips or it could be the gray tips, because that's going to be in the shoe. No one's going to see that. Just make sure there's no logo on the actual sock. Okay, and again, it does say calf high. You can get by with ankles. So if your son prefers ankle socks, just don't show up with no shows. That's not going to work. They got to be at least ankle. Okay, so get 24 of those. Get 15 pairs of underwears. They could be any color you want. It does not matter whether they're white, gray, blue, or anything. It doesn't matter. They could be any color you want, okay? And then you have to have white t-shirts. They cannot be every color. The only colors you can have are your underwear because they're going to be covered by the blue shorts, all right? So get 24 pairs of white socks. Get 15 any color underwear you prefer, and 15 white t-shirts, crew neck t-shirts. They could be the cotton, they could be micro like my son had, it could be anything. The other thing that you want to make sure you bring are 3 black socks. Now I'm going to go why that's important. So there's a dresser drawer in each room. There's three cadets to a room. On that dresser drawer there are 6 drawers. Each cadet gets 2 drawers. One of the drawers they're going to use to put their socks, underwears, and t-shirts in. That's not inspected. They can just throw all that stuff in there. Their second drawer is what's called their inspection drawer. I'm not really going to go too deep into that, but that's the one where they're going to come in when they do the inspection. They're going to look at that drawer. You have to have 3 white socks, 3 white underwears, and 3 black socks. and they're going to teach them. They call them smiley faces. They roll them up to where it looks like the socks have a smiley face. They'll teach them how to do that, but just make sure that they have that, especially the black socks. Do not forget the 3 black socks, because when they go to orientation graduation, okay, they're going to more likely be in their black uniforms. They have to have a pair of black socks, okay, so don't forget that. So again, 24 pairs of white socks, 15 underwears, 15 white t-shirts, and make sure you have 3 extra white socks and 3 white underwears, definitely. So if you've got the colored underwears, the 15 colored underwears, please make sure that you bring 3 white Fruit of the Looms. Doesn't matter whether your son likes those or not, those are just for inspection, to roll up and leave them in that drawer, and then you never touch that drawer, just leave it there, okay? So make sure you have those 3 white underwears for the inspection drawer along with the 3 black socks, all right? So that's that on that. You don't need a robe. If you got a female cadet, maybe, but I wouldn't get a robe if you have a male, a son or anything like that. Toiletries, you're going to want to bring, obviously, toothbrush, toothpaste. Just get the small travel thing, something that's going to last them for a couple weeks. Again, you can load them up after graduation. Right now, what you want to do is just get them through orientation and keep your packing as light as possible. Shaving, my son barely shaves. I think I gave him just a 5-pack of disposable razors and a little small travel pack shaving cream for him. I don't know if they used it all or not. He doesn't shave much. And then you're going to need to get shoe polish, okay? Now, I bought the kit off of Amazon, and it came with a black and a brown. You don't need the brown shoe polish, just the black. But what I would recommend is buy the kit, and then while you're there, also buy the black shoe polish that is called Parade. It's by Kiwi, I think. It's just Google it in Amazon, you'll find it. It's called Parade. It's a very high. It takes less time to shine shoes, as opposed to what comes in those kits, the regular ones. So make sure you buy the Parade. Your son or your daughter's going to love you for it, because they can actually polish their shoes in half the time with that. And just put that in the bag and take it with him. So the shoe polish and his toiletries, socks, underwears, shoes. We got that. 2 pairs of swimming trunks. We got that. Make sure you bring 2 Sharpie pins, because you're going to need the 2 Sharpie pins to write their last name on their towels. They're going to need 4 towels. Okay. Black Sharpie pins, they're going to write their last name on them, so that when they do laundry, it identifies what cadet is, whose towels belong to who. So you're going to need your 4 towels. Also, you're allowed to have one 4x6 pitcher. I bought my son a flippable, a nice little black frame. I got it on Amazon, so he's able to flip it. So the first one's our family photo, then the back side is him and his dog that he loves. So you can buy a photo frame, the little flip. They're only allowed to have one, so get the one that flips, and then they can change the picture right there if they want. You do not need a mattress topper, not now, so do not bring that. And then a medicine bag. I would highly recommend. Me and my wife took a quarter sandwich Ziploc bag, and we put Tylenol in there, Benadryl, some Band-Aids, some gauzes, Neosporin, things like that. Small little travel. We bought a first aid travel kit and took out a bunch of stuff and put it in there. That way, if your son or daughter has a headache at night or something, or they get a cut or a mosquito bite or something, or an insect bite, they can treat themselves in the room. They don't have to go to the nurse's office, okay? Fan. You're going to need a fan. You get the 7-inch portable one that has the clip on it. It's really important to get the one on the clip, because on their racks where they sleep, there's a little bumper thing that keeps their cadets from falling off the rack. That fan will clip right on there, because those rooms, I'm telling you, they do not have AC in them. So orientation is in like middle August, and it's hot. My son was dying up there, he said. So if you get the fan with the clip, you can clip it on there. And I also got my son, I brought him a long power strip that had USB and some C ports in it. And I bought him a 20-foot C cable, so that way if his battery died in his fan, he could run the cord all the way down to the desk and have it run off of that. and bring a pillow, a sheet, and a pillowcase. I got him all the cool ones on Amazon, so he sleeps in that, just right on top. He's not going to need a blanket. Don't bring any heavy blankets or anything like that. Just the sheets. That's all that they're allowed to have, and they're going to be sleeping on top of that. A lot of your cadets are going to sleep in their, literally, they're going to sleep in their PT shorts without a shirt on, because in the morning times they're woken up at 5 o'clock in the morning with them banging on their door telling them, you got 2 minutes to get out here, we're waiting for you. So a lot of these kids just sleep right in their PT gear, jump right out of bed, throw on their shirt and their shoes, and they get out there in front for mofo. So yeah, you're going to need that. The other thing that I would get is get a pack of washcloths. Okay, now they do have what's called a 10-second shower. Okay, and it's the worst thing ever. My son said he took maybe 3 showers in 2 weeks there. There's just not enough time. Kids go in there with soap on them, and the water gets shut off, and then they come out full of soap. So what I did, I knew this ahead of time. Somebody told me about this, so I'm going to pass it on to you. I don't know if you can see this. It's not on the packing list, but I highly recommend you get this. It's a 2-pack. It's about $10. Just make sure that you let your son know, because I bought this for my son, and his roommates loved it, so they ended up clearing it out. He ran out after about a week, so you might want to buy 4 packs. And just let your cadet know that, hey, you can give them a couple to your roommates, but don't let them all take them, and then now you're out of luck. But it's called Scrubs Bath Sponge. So they just wet it. So if he's unable to take a shower, he can wet it under the sink. It turns into soap. He can wash behind his neck, his face, underarms, body. Take the washcloth, wet that, and then rinse himself off with that, and then dry himself with a towel. It's not as good as a shower, but it's as close as you can get. And I would highly recommend getting like 4 packs of these. I think 2 of them are like $10, so about $20. I would highly recommend you do that. And then command hooks. Not necessary now, but when you go back for graduation and you start bringing his civilian clothes, you can have that set up and get at least a 5 or 10 pound capacity. Because when you drop your cadet off at orientation, it is your one and only time that you are going to be able to go into his or her room. Okay, and that's the drop off of stuff, get his sheets put on, help him get set in. He or she's going to change into their PT gear. And then that way, behind the bunk is where I set our son's command hooks up. Right on the back of the bunk, there's a wooden thing at the end of his bed, kind of a curved shape thing. We stuck 3 command hooks on there because that's where he hangs all his collared clothes during, his civilian clothes, once we brought that up. But you can go in there during orientation drop off and at least get those set up. So he'll have that ready. He or she will have that ready for. And then that'll be the first time and last time you'll be able to ever go in your cadets' rooms. And so I would just sit there. If you get there early and you're the first ones there, wait for the other parents to come and get to know them and exchange information with them. We have become very, very good friends with one of my son's roommates' parents. In fact, my son goes to their house almost every week, and he's out of state. His roommate's from Connecticut, and he has a car there, so my son goes to his parents' house almost every weekend in Connecticut. She's just been a fantastic woman, and it's really helped us out a lot. So, and then an ironing board. Bring an ironing board and an iron. Even if the other parents do, you can. It's always good to have at least 2 ironing boards in there. They'll fold right up and fit in the corner. That way you don't have just one ironing board and you got 3 cadets trying to use the ironing board and they're trying to get their stuff ironed. So, just bring one, and if the other parents bring it, well, one of you could take yours back, but I would definitely, leave 2 in there with 2 irons. And so you're going to need the pins, the notebook. You don't need any pencils, just some writing pins, and let's see what else here. You don't need a car. Don't worry about that. Don't bring any jewelry. Bring your laptop, and you don't need any money. No credit cards, no money or anything like that. Just make sure they got 2 black Sharpies, 2 silver Sharpies, and 2 or 3 ink pens. That's it. You know, they're going to get a sewing kit. Oh, and by the way, I would definitely, if your cadet doesn't know how to sew, this would be a good time before they go is to pull out something and teach them how to sew, because when they get there, they're going to get their name tag and they're going to make them sew that onto their boiler suit. All right. So teach them, you know, let them practice how to sew the old school with just a needle and a thread, you know. And they'll give them a sewing kit. It's a cheap one, but you know they'll figure it out. They'll work together. I think my son actually, I think he paid the guy across the hall from him $2 to sew his name tag on his boiler suit. So, anyways, that's basically it. So just do that. Get them through. But again, these things right here are so key. I would buy 4 of these because they're going to go through them. Especially if the other roommates see them and they don't have them, they're going to want to get in it. My son ran out after like 8 days, so the last week there's no way I can get a hold of him to know, but he said that his roommates kind of used most of it up, so just bring enough for him there. He's going to definitely need that. And so I'll do another video about orientation, graduation, where to park, things like that, when to get there, things that they're going to need. So, but this is kind of the basic stuff. Just know your Youngie knowledge. Start training before you go. 24 pairs of socks, 15 underwears, 15 white t-shirts. Make sure you get 3 white underwears and 3 black socks for his inspection drawers. Some Sharpies, a medicine bag, a fan with a cable and a charging port, and and a laptop. And no civilian clothes. Do not bring, you don't need to bring sweatpants or pairs of shorts. They are not allowed to wear that. They have to wear everything that's issued to them for those 2 weeks. Even when they're in school. When school starts, they are not allowed to, like after classes, when they come back to the room, they are not allowed to wear sweatpants or anything. It all has to be what they call buck air, and I'll get into that later. But that's basically it. You know, don't forget the parade. Shoe polish. Remember I was telling you about that. Get a shoebox kit and buy the parade polish and take the 2 that came with the kit out and just put that 1 parade in there. That's what my son loves. He can polish his shoes in half the time than the ones that are issued to him. So that's basically it. Get them through. And just make sure when you do drop them off, the other thing I'll say real quick on this one is when you drop them off, you let them know. Find some place on that campus to meet after graduation, because again, you're not going to have contact with your cadet for 2 weeks. There's no phone, there's nothing. So find like a statue. There was a big anchor there. It was Buchanan Hall, I think it was. There was a statue of some mariner there. I told my son, we'll meet you right here, and he met me there, us there right after graduation, because everybody looks the same. They're all wearing the same uniform, and it's very hard to pick out your child. And after graduation, there's so many people looking around for their kids. You're going to be walking around trying to, it's like trying to find a needle in a haystack. So get your cadet before you leave with them. Find a place on that campus and tell your cadet, after graduation, I want you to meet me and Mom right here. Okay, just come here. This is where we'll meet you at, okay? Because they won't have their phone with them and you can't call them. And that's going to be what I would recommend you do, okay? So hopefully that helped. Look out for my other video. I'm going to be doing a whole bunch of videos to hopefully help you guys make your transition a little bit easier and maybe pass on some of the things that I learned to make your life a little bit easier, okay?